It's a different day from when I filmed my One Piece Saga 3 review, but I still have a cold. At least at the time that I'm filming this. Hopefully by the time you see it, I won't anymore. But apologies if I still sound terrible. But it's not going to keep me from talking about Luffy. But first, before we get into all that, an ad from today's sponsor, Skillshare. I'm a musician, and not of the starving variety. I'm very good. Yeah, write that down. Write that down. Which is why I use Skillshare to keep my skills up to date, learn new things, and generally rock. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. With Skillshare, there is so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives. Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth. There are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes like this class. Learn how to mix music with Young Guru. And it's only $10 a month with an annual subscription. Yeah, that's good. And the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial to Skillshare Premium membership. Don't be a starving artist. Be a successful artist, like me, with Skillshare. Okay, I have read the first 3 sagas of One Piece, so I'm 300 chapters in, and I'm in Saga 4, but just barely at the time that I'm filming this. So this video is going to age terribly, but I'm still so early on in the series. I'm almost finished with the first quarter of what I have to read for now, but the series isn't even complete. So I'm still early on in this monster of a series. So I thought it'd be fun to stop and just chat a little bit of my right now perspective of Luffy and why he's really working for me as a protagonist. And then maybe someday when I'm 80 and I catch up with the series, just kidding, I'm gonna catch up. When I have a more holistic look of who Luffy is and how you see him today, I will maybe make this video again and we'll discuss Luffy better. What? Luffy from the very first volume has been an excellent protagonist for this series. This series is absurd and silly and fun, but emotionally intense. And I think that Luffy is the perfect protagonist to shepherd us into this world, the perfect protagonist to set the tone. He's childlike, he's innocent, he's doe-eyed, he sees the world as one great adventure that surely he can tackle. Any dream he has, any goal he has, obviously it's accessible to him. All he has to do is go and get it. The way he sees life is very simple to my eyes, as far as I can see. It's very straightforward. It's very, I want adventure, I get adventure. I accidentally ate a devil fruit that means that I can't swim, therefore there's no way I could possibly be a pirate. Yes, I can, because I said so. There's no real fear of danger. There's no real great worry for him. He tackles everything, including battles against really powerful people, as something fun, something to laugh at and smile at. He walks into a town of pirates where he just watched someone get bludgeoned for a perceived slight and he thinks, what a charming place. Luffy's overwhelmingly optimistic and doe-eyed look toward life, as well as his childlike excitement for adventure and unwavering belief of his dreams easily being accomplished if you just go for it, is such a great protagonist, such a great tone for the series that we have, for this absurdist world and these fun, silly, exciting adventures. He has the best humor where, or the best humor surrounds him, where things go over his head all the time. He doesn't see danger as something to really be bothered by anytime he faces an opponent or faces a situation that's not good, he views it as, oh cool, we get to fight now. And as he continues to build his crew, and as he continues to seek out people to be a part of his pirate adventure, he's all the time, anytime he sees somebody cool with some sort of neat skill, he's just like, be a part of my crew, to the point of sometimes even chasing them down and screaming, be a part of my crew, as they're running away because they don't want to. He kind of barrels through a brick wall into anything he wants. And I love that about him. And I love that the crew totally accepts that. I love that the crew accepts his leadership despite his naivete. I love that they will go with whatever he says and go to the locations that he says, accept the people that he says. But at the same time, they also push back against him in a lot of things and yell at him when he's not understanding situations. And I love their dynamics. I think that I love the whole crew, actually. But I think that Luffy is such a great leader to the crew. But on top of that, contrasting everything that I just said, he has this intense loyalty to the people that he loves, to the extent that he will destroy someone that harms them. If somebody is challenging Luffy, then his response is to smile and to get ready for a fight. How fun. We get to throw fists now. If somebody insults someone that he cares about, he shifts into fierce protect mode. He will destroy someone that harms someone he loves. He has this fierce protectiveness, this intense violence that will come over him if someone has hurt someone that he cares about. And what's cool, what's interesting, what I find so interesting about Luffy is that emotional slight and emotional pain towards someone he cares about seems to be far greater and far more of an insult and offense to him than if someone physically hurts someone he cares about. When it's time to fight, all of his friends join the fight, and Luffy never says, no, you stay back, I don't want you to get hurt. He's not worried about them. He knows his crew is competent, and even if they are bleeding so much that you can barely see their faces through all the blood, even if they're cut halfway through, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but they do incur a lot of damage. No matter what kind of physical pain they've experienced, Luffy doesn't really blink twice. He doesn't really worry about them. He expects everybody's gonna make it out just fine. But if you make one of his crew members cry, your life will be over. I love the protectiveness that Luffy goes into, whether it's a crew member that has been emotionally hurt, or if it's a situation where somebody that he doesn't even know, it seems like their freedom is being stolen. He will switch into this hyper-focus, angry, I will protect you mode, which I think is such an interesting level to him that I love seeing. It's such an interesting contrast that's consistent with his character every time. I also think that he's such an interesting character because he's good, but he's not good. It's hard to explain. I'll try to explain to you what I mean. I find his character so interesting because you can't call him a hero at this point in the story. At this point of what I've read, you can't call him a hero. He's not doing good things. He's not Robin Hood, right? Like, he's not doing the crimes. He's not doing the stealing and the pillaging and everything for the sake of people who need more. No, he's doing it so he can eat a gluttonous amount. He's doing it because he just wants what he wants. You can't really look at Luffy and say, oh, he's a defender of men, even though he does defend people. You can't look at Luffy and say he's a hero, but he is good. He'll defend people that he doesn't even know, people that he's just met. He'll stay on an island where two people have been fighting for hundreds of years, and he won't move on to his own dream until he knows that those people are back to where they want to be. If he sees a disruption in his perceived morality, the things that he honors, the things that he sees as right and true and good, if he sees a disruption in that, even towards people that he doesn't know, people that he just met, he will put his dreams and his goals on hold to make sure that they are put right again. He will help, even if it means potentially sacrificing his own life, which I don't really think he fears his own death. I don't really think he considers himself killable, even though we all know that he can drown. He doesn't really fear anything. But regardless, he will sacrifice himself. He'll put himself and his friends in danger for the sake of putting back the things that he has deemed right and honorable, and then get back to his dreams. So he's such an interesting character to me because his morality isn't always correct, right? He's not a good guy. He just has his idea of what's right in the world. And he will do anything he can to protect his people and to protect people he doesn't even know for the sake of what his standards are, I guess his pirate's code, what he deems correct. But he's not always right, and his morality seems flux to me. What he's willing to fight for seems consistent, but it's not on a line of good and bad. It's a line of what Luffy deems right and wrong, which I love because it's consistent. So far, every time he deems something right or wrong, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Those are Luffy's values. And he will do anything to keep those values in line, to make sure that the world is aligned with his values. But what if his values are wrong? It doesn't matter. He will charge straight through a brick wall to do what he wants to do. It's all about what he wants to do. But I love that about him. I find him to be such an interesting character. I haven't figured him out yet. I haven't figured out how good and how bad he is, because he certainly is neither. He's simply Luffy. His innocent way of bumbling through life is so childlike that he's so easy to love, but there's also so many layers to him that make me pause and think, how can I really break down this character? Who really is he? And I love that about him. Luffy is a character that I'm still trying to figure out. 300 chapters into the series, I feel like I'm starting to get a grasp on him. Starting to. But I expect there will be an arc. I expect he'll change. I expect there will be scenarios that he encounters eventually that make him shift his worldview even just a little bit. And I'm excited to see that too. He's a character that I can't really break down at this point, but that I'm always looking at and always looking to understand a little bit better. And I think in this absurdist, nonsense, silly world, he is the perfect protagonist because he is absurd and silly and nonsensical, but he also stays consistent. And this series, while being silly and light and fun, has a lot of emotional depth to it, and Luffy as well matches that perfectly. While being childlike and doe-eyed and defender yet not good, he has that emotional depth where things really hit him hard. Again, this is something that I haven't seen a lot of yet, but that I expect to come from him. I expect for him to continue to match the tone of the series because he really seems to be the roadmap for what this world is. He's the perfect one to show me what kind of series I'm in for because he seems to match the tone of the series so perfectly. So while I see an emotional depth to the series, I see that in Luffy too, but I haven't experienced it a lot, but I expect it to come from him because he's been such a mirror of the tone of the series so far. Does that make sense? I still have this cold and I feel like my brain is just not strong right now. So I hope I articulated my points well. I hope you understand what I mean. I thought it would be fun to just chat about how I perceive him still at the front of this series, still getting to know him, but having spent enough time with him that I'm starting to understand him. I think it'll be really interesting to see how you guys respond to this. Do you feel like I'm getting a grasp of him? Do you feel like everything that I'm saying is gonna change in the future? Don't spoil me, please. But I don't know. He's a character that I personally really appreciate and love and who's working so well for me. So I wanted to do a video giving you my perspective of him as a newbie, and I'm excited to continue to see him and see what comes of him and maybe come back later and do a "you were so dumb, Murph, here's what he's really like" video. But anyway, I would love to continue chatting with you about this in the comments. Don't forget to check out the link to Skillshare in the description of the video. Check out my Patreon if you feel like it. I'm there all the time. We chat tons. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you again soon. Bye.